Hello class, we will continue our discussion and we are now in lesson 3 and we will discuss about the 5S of good housekeeping. So we discussed in the previous module or previous lesson, we discussed about the definition of terms and we have this 5S of good housekeeping. So that is only a bird's eye view of this topic. So for this online lecture, we will dig more on this topic and we will discuss every S here. So as a summary, can you able to recall what are the 5S? That is the sort, systematize, shine, standardize, and sustain. So we will discuss about this 5S of good housekeeping. I know that our subject is all about food and beverage, and it is not a housekeeping management or lodging management. But the 5S of good housekeeping is also applicable in food and beverage department. So it is very important and we need to discuss about this one. So the 5S is a simple method of organizing a workplace that will be safely and efficiently to enhance productivity. So if we will not apply this 5S, our job or our work in the workplace will not be effective and it will not be efficient, and also it will not uh, safety workplace if we will not apply the 5S of good housekeeping. So it is a systematized approach to organize work areas and it will keep rules and standard and maintain the discipline that is needed to do a productive workplace. So we will become more productive if we will apply this 5S of good housekeeping. So 5S leans on the idea that productivity is achieved by organizing the work area because it eliminates wasting of resources as like a time. Okay, so if we will apply the 5 E's of good housekeeping, it will eliminate wasting of resources, especially the time. So it traces in its origin to the production techniques that observed in some of the world's leading manufacturing companies. This method is divided into 5 phases as we have discussed. Okay, so again, for the recap, that is in Japanese term, it is sheri. We also have shiton, shesu, shiketsu, and shitsuki. So its phase is named after the Japanese term, and then reorganizing the Japanese companies, which lead to the practice of this method. So for the recap again, the origin of 5S is in Japan, which is this country is known for having a high quality of standard in the products as well as in the services. And it is adapted with the different countries. So again, these are the 5S. We have sort or shiri, systematize or shiton, shine or shesu, standardize or shiketsu, and sustain or shitsuke. Again, the 5 is a simple method of organizing the workplace safely and efficiently to enhance productivity. So it is a systematized approach to organize work areas, keep rules and standard, and maintain the discipline needed to do a productive workplace. So the 5S leans on the idea that productivity is achieved by organizing the work area because it eliminates wasting of resources such as time. So we'll discuss first about the number 1S, which is sort, or in Japanese, shere. So the sort or the word shere means sorting. Not just sorting, but also clearing and classifying. So this phase is the first step of the 5S method. Shere has two main goals. Number one is to remove unnecessary object and to reduce waste. So this is the first step. So here is the practices of sharing. We will use the evaluation criteria in sorting. So we need to have a guide. We need to have a, listing of the criteria, and we will use tags when sorting. Okay, so we need to put a tags on the particular materials or things in the workplace. And then we need to create a material list containing all the available materials. So the question is, what is the benefits of applying sorting or sharing? So here is the benefits of applying the sharing or sorting. It The production spaces are freed and become more productive. It is freed because we will eliminate the unnecessary objects. Okay, so for example, if we are in the room, we need to remove the unnecessary object. So if we will remove the unnecessary object, our space is more freed and become more productive. Okay, and then what is the other benefits of sharing? Conducting inventory becomes easier. So you can easily check the available things or materials because the unnecessary object is already being removed. So it is easy for you to conduct an inventory. Next, less time is consumed for searching for an item. Again, the reason for having a less time in searching for item because we already removed the unnecessary objects. And then number four, moving goods and mobility of employees become easier. It will become more easier. We will have a easy access of the area because we have more space because we remove the unnecessary object. So this is the importance of applying sharing or sorting. Again, for the recap, it will have a sorting or will have a tags on these um, different items or different materials. And we need to remove the unnecessary objects. If we will remove the unnecessary object, the place or the area is become more spacious. Next, S, systematize or sheton. So the systematize or sheton, or in other words, it is set in order, is the process of taking the necessary items and placing them in their designated areas. So the goal of sheton is to put the workplace in order. Just like here in this picture, for example, in sorting, we will identify what are the plates that can still be used and what are the plates that it should be removed because there's a crack or there's a damage. So we need to separate, we need to sort the usable and plates that is not that is no longer being that's no longer advisable to be used. So we need to set aside the unnecessary things. So as you can observe here, the word shiton means set in order. So the practices of shiton is label items and their locations, put items at their allocated places. So after we remove the unnecessary materials or unnecessary items, and we will remain the necessary items, we need to put it in the proper location. What else? Return the items back from where they came from. So after we have using a particular item, you need to return it to the original position. Next, number three, record any changes regarding the order of placement of the things and inform concerned personnel. So you need to update the records regularly. For example, you have put something on this cabinet. You need to put a record that you get those items, or you need to inform the personnel that is assigned to that area. Number four, put frequently used items closer to reach. There are items that can, we will use it frequently, and there are items that some we will just use it sometimes or once a week or once a month. So the items that is frequently being used, we need to put it closer to reach to easily get the items. And then number five, do not pile items without a labeled separator. We need to put a labeled separator so that it can be easily for someone to get the items that he or she needs. So here is the benefits of applying sheton or systematizing. Number one, it will less time spent in searching for items. Okay, because the items is put in the proper location. So you can easily locate the items because it is put in the proper location. Number two, less time is spent in transport and handling operations. And number three, fewer operations requiring too much effort, such as heavy lifting. Just like, for example, just here, you need to put frequently used items closer to reach. So it can produce less time in searching. It can produce less time in getting the items. So that is the advantage of applying systematizing or shiton. Number three, sweep or shesu. The sweep or shesu is translated as the sweep, shine, or clean. So shesu aims to ensure efficiency by maintaining the tools, machines, and equipment, and the cleanliness of the workplace as well. So this just is it can easily be understood. If we will hear the word sweep or shesu, it's just a simple mean as cleaning or sweeping or make the materials or equipment or tools shine and clean. So here are the practices of sweep or shesu. We need to clean and inspect the workplace area regularly. We need to make sure that everything is in order. Assign a caretaker for each tool, machine, or equipment. Number three, clarify daily maintenance by providing clear instructions. There are many materials, there are many items in the food and beverage department that must have a maintenance. Maintaining the cleanliness of the items. So if we will not maintain the cleanliness of the items or equipment, it will be easily being damaged or destroyed. Number four, we need to provide necessary tools and pointers for cleaning. So there are tools that can be used in cleaning the items, especially in the food and beverage department. So here are the benefits if we will apply the sweep or shiatsu. Tidiness and order in the workplace are maintained, especially that we are food handlers. We need to make sure the our workplace is tidy and very clean. Number three, malfunctions and other situations can be prevented even before they arise. Again, that is the advantage if we will maintain the cleanliness of the items or any materials. It will prevent damaging of the items. Just like, for example, in your if someone here has a motorcycle or any machines or any items, so we make these particular items, it will last their, we call it life if we will maintain cleanliness. Okay, it will remove dirts or any sediments that can easily destroy the items or machines, for example. And then number three, contradictions and other non-compliance will not go unnoticed and unaddressed. So here are the practices and benefits of applying sweep or shiatsu. Number four, standardize or shiketsu. Shiketsu involves incorporating the occasions done in the sheri, shiton, and shiketsu into the system permanently. So this is the key word, permanently. It makes the sheri, shiton, and shiketsu into a system permanently. I have clearly discussed this in our face-to-face class. I hope that you can able to catch this one. Make the sheri, shiton, and shiketsu into a system permanently. Okay, this is also the job of the manager. So this is to ensure that the common standards of working will be applied, as what I have discussed in our face-to-face class, the SOP or Standard Operating Procedure. Every establishment, every company has SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. So there are procedure, there are processes in sorting, there are processes in systematizing, there are, you know, standards or processes in sweeping, and we need to make it as a standard, or other words, shiketsu. We also have here a shesu. I think it is a Shisu, not a Shiketsu, because Shiketsu is a standardized. So here are the practices of Shiketsu. Use visual materials in managing such as infographics, bulletin boards, and light devices. Next, use posted messages calling for immediate action. Use marks to label inspected items. Post labels on machines and equipment indicating the dates of the previous and the upcoming maintenance. So this is only just a supervising the Shere, Shiton, and Shesu. Yeah, this is not Shiketsu. This is Shesu. Into a system permanently. Just for example, in the machines, as what we have discussed earlier, that we need to maintain the cleanliness so that the lifespan of the machines and equipment will become in a higher place. Okay, so we need to put labels so that we have reminders, the dates to the dates of the previous and the upcoming maintenance. Just like for example in the car, we need to change oil the car, and we need to put the dates or the odometer in the previous, and we need to put the, like for example, odometer or the dates for the upcoming change oil. So we need to have a guidance, we need to have a maintenance, so we need to have a standard, okay, on this particular activity. So here are the benefits of applying standardized or shiketsu. Cleanliness and orderliness in the workplace are maintained. Missed operations on the processes or equipment functions can easily be identified and prevented. We can easily identify it because we already have the standards. We already have the guide. Here's the, for example, the guide, the labels, the marks, the bulletins or visual materials, so that we will have a guidance reminders that we need to apply the Shere, Shiton, and Shesu. So it will miss the miss operations on the processes or equipment functions can easily be identified because we already have the guide. Number three, good practices are standardized. So that is the good practices and it will become standardized. So here's the last about sustain or shetsuke. As the last step in the 5S, Shetsuke is concerned in the maintenance and review of the previous steps. So again, this is the highlights or the keywords here for sustain or shiketsu. Review of the previous steps. Since we already standardized the sorting, the systematizing, and the cleaning, we need to maintain that. We need to put it into standard. We have the guide. But to sustain is the higher or the highest among the 5S because it will review the previous steps. The question is why we need to review the previous steps, so that there's a possibility that we can enhance the previous standard to put another standard which is more relevant. Okay, so we need to develop, we need to enhance the previous standard. So there's is just like a cycle movement. Okay, so the goal of this step is to oversee the new way things are done as a result of the previous 4 steps. So here are the practices. Develop and reviewing standardized procedures regularly. We need to regularly review the standard procedures. Number 2, conduct inspections regularly. Number 3, provide necessary adjustment to situations brought about by the new ways introduced in the first 4 steps. So this is what I have mentioned a while ago. Provide necessary adjustment. Adjustment on what? Adjustment on the previous standard. Okay, so the job or the duties of standardizing is we need to make sure that everything is followed. But about the sustain or shetsuke, we need to review the standard and we need to adjust if there's any situations that needs to be adjusted. Okay, and then we need to enhance or develop the set standard. Okay, And then next, number four, train employees in the 5S method and explain to them the principles behind it. We need to, uh, you know, we need to discuss with the employees and to the coworkers, for example, what are the reasons of applying those methods? And number five, communicate the 5S to the employees. So here are the benefits of Shetsuki or sustain. Employees are doing newly introduced to practices without being told to do so. So they will be updated, the employees. Improvements in the productivity will be enjoyed long term. Okay. So because we have the adjustment, we have the improvement of the standard, it will, improve the productivity of the work. And then number three, health and safety measures are improved as well. So there is an improvement. Okay, there is an improvement as what we have discussed in our face-to-face class. Change is only the constant in this world. So we need to improve not just ourselves, not just our intellectual part, not just our behavior, not just our skills, but also the processes or the procedures set by the um, manager or the owner of the establishment. So there is always a room for improvement. That is why we need to standardize and we need to sustain. We need to review the standard and we need to make some adjustment based on the situations. Okay, so we are done with the unit 1. So up next, unit 2, we will discuss about the preparing environment for food and beverage services. Thank you. Bye bye.